Mercedes are under fire, and the entire Formula One paddock is watching closely. The Silver Arrows have dominated the start of the new season, but their latest innovation has sparked a massive controversy. Ferrari have officially requested clarification from the FIA regarding a highly suspicious front-wing mechanism on the Mercedes W17. What looks like a normal active aero system in real time is actually a brilliant and potentially illegal piece of engineering. The German team has found a way to bend the rules without technically breaking them, and it is giving them a significant advantage on track. The question now is whether the FIA will ban this clever loophole or if the rest of the grid will be forced to copy it. The new regulations for this season introduced active aerodynamics to both the front and rear wings. This was always going to create opportunities for teams to find gray areas, and Mercedes seemed to have found a massive one. The specific rule in question is Article C3.10 of the technical regulations. It states that any adjustment of the front wing profiles controlled by the FIA standard must have a maximum transition time between two fixed positions that does not exceed 400 milliseconds. Simply put, when the driver hits the brakes and the wing closes to generate downforce, it must do so in less than 0.4 seconds. The FIA monitors this in real time using a sensor wired to the wing actuator. If the transition takes longer than 400 milliseconds, it is deemed illegal. But Mercedes have found a genius way to bypass this sensor. Instead of closing the wing in one smooth motion, they have split the transition into two distinct phases. The media is calling it a two-step phase or a biphase closure. When the braking zone approaches, the flap moves just a few millimeters. This tiny movement is enough for the FIA sensor to register that the fully closed or corner mode has been achieved. This first step happens incredibly fast, well within the legal 400 millisecond window. The sensor signs off, the FIA system sees a green light, and everything looks perfectly legal on paper. But then comes phase 2. After the sensor has already registered the closure, the flap continues moving slowly to its final aerodynamic position. This second phase happens completely under the radar of the official monitoring system. Trackside footage from the Chinese Grand Prix clearly shows that the Mercedes wing does not snap shut in one clean motion like the other cars on the grid. It does that quick first step, pauses or slows down dramatically, and then finishes closing over what looks like 800 milliseconds. That is double the time allowed by the regulations. But because the sensor only catches the first phase, Mercedes are getting away with it. You might be wondering why Mercedes would go through all this trouble. What is the actual advantage of closing the wing slower? The answer lies in the delicate balance of the car under heavy braking. When a Formula One car slams on the brakes, the sudden transition from low downforce to high downforce completely changes the handling. The balance and pressure distribution shift violently, which can make the car incredibly difficult to drive. We have seen several drivers struggle with this sudden snap during the transition phase. By slowing down the closure of the front wing, Mercedes are smoothing out that transition. This two-phase system allows them to bias the aerodynamic load towards the rear of the car for a fraction of a second longer. It helps keep the rear end much more stable during that crucial moment between lifting off the throttle and applying the brakes. The car becomes more predictable, easier to handle, and much smoother through the corner entry. This is a massive benefit, especially when paired with the incredibly strong Mercedes power unit. The W17 is already the fastest car in a straight line, and this front wing trick is making it a beast in the corners as well. It is a brilliant piece of engineering that perfectly exploits a blind spot in the FIA monitoring system. Motorsport analysts and engineers have been dissecting the footage, and the theories behind how Mercedes are achieving this are fascinating. Some experts suggest that the team might be using a pressure-activated bypass valve or a relief valve in the hydraulic actuator. The aerodynamic load pushing against the front wing changes depending on the speed of the car. At high speeds, the load is massive. A clever valve system could slow down the pressure build up under heavy aero load, effectively delaying the movement of the flap. In a static test inside the garage with no wind pushing against the wing, it would close perfectly within the 400 millisecond limit. But out on the track, under massive aerodynamic pressure, the timing changes. This is classic Formula One innovation. Teams are always pushing the boundaries and finding ways to outsmart the rulebook. But Ferrari are not happy about it. The Italian squad has officially approached the FIA, asking them to look into the legality of the Mercedes system. Ferrari want to know if this two-phase closure is allowed, and if it is, they will undoubtedly start developing their own version. But if the FIA decides that this violates the spirit of the regulations, Mercedes could be forced to change their design. The governing body is currently investigating the matter ahead of the Japanese Grand Prix, and their ruling will have a massive impact on the championship battle. It is important to note that Mercedes are not the only team experimenting with active aero tricks. There have been rumors about Aston Martin hiding the front of their car to conceal a unique mechanism. And footage of the Ferrari also shows some interesting movement under braking, although it appears to be a natural result of load transfer rather than a deliberate two-phase system. When the front and rear wings close, more downforce is added to the car, causing the entire chassis to dip. The Ferrari movement looks like a standard reaction to the braking phase, whereas the Mercedes system looks highly intentional and specifically designed to bypass the sensor timing. The situation is reminiscent of previous technical controversies in the sport. We saw McLaren push the limits with their mini DRS system, and Ferrari themselves faced massive scrutiny over their engine tricks a few years ago. When Ferrari got caught, the FIA patched the loophole immediately, and it severely hurt their performance in the long run. Mercedes are now facing a similar test. Will the FIA ban this two-phase system right away? Or will they allow it to continue for a few more races? Some believe the governing body might force Mercedes to turn off the delayed phase in Japan, requiring the wing to close in one smooth motion. Others think Mercedes might argue that they need time to redesign the mechanism, buying themselves a few more races with the advantage. Even if the FIA bans the system, it might not be the game changer that Ferrari are hoping for. The Mercedes W17 is a phenomenal car, and its strength goes far beyond a clever front wing. The power unit is widely considered to be the best on the grid, boasting a significant horsepower advantage over the competition. George Russell and Kimi Antonelli have been driving flawlessly, securing victories in Australia and China. The team is operating at an incredibly high level, and losing this specific aerodynamic trick will not suddenly make them slow. It might make the car slightly less balanced on corner entry, but they will still be the team to beat. The Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka will be a fascinating test for this controversy. Either way, the drama off the track is just as intense as the racing on it. What do you guys think about this Mercedes front wing trick? Is it a brilliant piece of innovation that should be allowed? Or is it an illegal loophole that needs to be banned immediately? And if you were a Ferrari fan, how would you feel if the roles were reversed? Let me know your thoughts and predictions in the comments down below.